Hare Krishna. Last episode, I did a small introduction about Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So now I'm going to start with the introduction. The introduction is quite powerful. From my own personal experience, I can say that I came into Krishna consciousness, or I was fortunate to be in this path because of the impact of reading the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is. In this introduction, Prabhupada has touched upon a variety of areas that are crucial to one's spiritual growth. The introduction begins with a prayer for the spiritual master. Prabhupada says, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. That's a prayer to one's spiritual master. And the next prayer is directed to Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who is a prominent spiritual master in the disciplic succession. So this prayer says, when will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? And the next prayer is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. For those who are not familiar with these words, a Vaishnava is a person who is devoted to Lord Vishnu or his incarnations. So here we are offering our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunatha Dasa and Raghunatha Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. These are the 6 Goswamis. These 6 Goswamis were saints who devoted their lives to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mission. You can Google more about them, or there are books from where you can find information. But just briefly, the 6 Goswamis hold a very prominent place in ISKCON. Their pictures you will find on the altar. Let me see if I can show you a picture of the 6 Goswamis. Should be there. Well, I can't find it right now, but I'll see if I can upload it onto as a thumbnail or something, or you can Google it. So this prayer is directed to all the 6 Goswamis. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhara, Srivasa, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisance to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishakha. These are important prayers in Gaudiya Sampradaya, or the spiritual disciplic succession that I follow. So before we begin reading and understanding any great scripture, one has to pay obeisances to one spiritual master and all the prominent spiritual masters in the disciplic succession. So here Prabhupada, he has put in the introduction right at the beginning the prayers to his spiritual master, which was the first prayer, and then prayer to Srila Rupa Goswami, and then prayers to 6 Goswamis, prayers to Panchatattva. Now, what is Panchatattva? They are Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, then Sri Gadadhara Pandit, Sri Advait Acharya, and Srivas Pandit. These 5 important jewels are together known as Panchatattva. So one has to offer obeisance to them, and then one offers obeisance to Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, and their eternal associates Sri Lalita and Vishakha. If you have questions regarding this, please do comment on below where you comment, and I will try my best to make you understand who are these people and why we have to pay obeisances before every important reading. And I will read the next prayer now. O mighty Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So here we are offering our obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. You are the friend of the distressed. When you are distressed, when you are suffering, and you call out to Krishna sincerely, you are surely going to get the benefit of that. So Krishna is referred to as friend of the distressed. Dina Bandhu, that is the Sanskrit equivalent of friend of the distressed. The source of creation, Jagatpate, Lord, the Supreme Lord is the source of everything that you see in this world. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. Krishna is always with his associates, and the most prominent associate of Krishna is Srimati Radharani, who is his internal pleasure potency. And he is always with his gopis. It's called Gopesha. Gopesha means master of gopis. Gopis means the cowherd girls, the cowherd girlfriends of Sri Krishna. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Here we are praying to Srimati Radharani, the eternal consort of Sri Krishna. Radharani's body is like molten gold, and she is regarded as the queen of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place in the northern part of India. It's in Uttar Pradesh. So if you are not familiar, you can check it up and you can visit Vrindavan. That is the most holiest of all holy places because that is the place where Lord Krishna appeared thousands of years ago. So Srimati Radharani is a daughter of King Vrishabhanu and she's very dear to Lord Krishna. So this was the introduction. So I'm reading the first page of the introduction and every day I will read one page and then at the same time simultaneously I will be reading one verse. So we are in chapter 1, verse number 1, Bhagavad Gita. So the first verse is, now imagine, you can picture the scene where the battle is about to begin. Both the parties are at their respective places, and the blind king Dhritarashtra, who is sitting in the palace, is asking his secretary Sanjaya. So the first verse says, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, or Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So the Sanskrit shlok goes like this. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta mamaka pandavaschaiva kima kurvata sanjaya. The king Dhritarashtra is asking his secretary Sanjay, can you tell me what's happening in the battlefield? Because the king cannot go there being blind. So how is it possible that his secretary who's sitting with him in the palace can tell him what's happening? That is because his secretary was endowed with Divya Drishti, or it is the power to see beyond. It is a magical power which empowers you to see faraway things happening. Like right now, our eyes are limited. We can only see what's in front of us. And if you're like me, you need glasses even for that. So our eyes are limited. But if you are empowered by a higher source, then your sense organs can be capable of seeing, hearing, and your senses can be enhanced. So Dhritarashtra's secretary Sanjay is sitting in the palace and he's able to tell the king what is happening in the Kurukshetra war. So I'll just read through the purport here. Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, the glorification of Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretation. The example of clear understanding is there in Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession, without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures. But the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjay are described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle of this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the time immemorial of Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharmakshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjay, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in the field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship. Even for the denizens of the heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjay was a student of Vyasa, and therefore by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjay was able to envision the battle of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and sons of Dhritarashtra belonged to the same family. But Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. So, it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion Sri Krishna was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's sons Duryodhana and others will be wiped out, and thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the word Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, apart from the historic and Vedic importance. That was the purport of the first sloka, first verse of Bhagavad Gita. So here, as I said, Dhritarashtra and his secretary are sitting in the palace, miles away from the actual battlefield. The battle was about to begin, but Dhritarashtra was concerned if at the last moment, will there be any problem? This shows us the mind of Dhritarashtra, who was not only physically blind, but it seems he was also spiritually blind. He did not want to share the family inherited kingdom with his brother's sons, which was grossly unfair. And just before the battle was about to begin, Dhritarashtra was having doubts. Why? Because the place Kurukshetra is a holy place. So a holy place has its own energy vibrations. For example, if in a holy place there's going to be a battle between the good and the bad, the good side will have some additional advantage because of the place. The place will empower the good side. So Dhritarashtra was aware of this. So he was doubtful about the outcome of the war. So he wanted to just ensure that nothing comes in the way of the battle. And it seems like he was hoping that his sons will not reach a compromise at the last moment. Um, the holy place can influence a person's mind also. So Dhritarashtra thought that the holy place should not influence his son Duryodhana. And so that's the reason why he put this question to Sanjay. What happened, or what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do on the holy place of Kurukshetra? The other thing here interesting is the use of the word Mamaka. Mamaka Pandavasya. So Dhritarashtra uses the word my. Um, what did my sons and the sons of Pandus do? That shows he's discriminating. A king, right now he's a king. Even though he is a temporary king, he's a king. A king should not discriminate amongst his subjects. And in this case, the subjects happen to be his own nephews. So he should be even more kind to them. But the reverse is happening. Dhritarashtra wanted to snatch away their rightful inheritance. And that is why he is said to be spiritually blind. And the other thing here to note is that, see, the Kuru dynasty ruled over the Bharatvarsha. Um, and therefore, people of the Kuru dynasty are known as Kauravas. But very cleverly, Dhritarashtra chose to call his sons Kauravas as if they are the authentic Kauravas, and he chose to call the sons of his brother Pandavas as if they don't belong to the family lineage. That was a deliberate move, which was unfair. Because Pandavas were basically Kauravas. The whole family was Kauravas. But when you name them Pandavas, you're kind of separating them from the family lineage. So that's another thing to note here. That's the first verse, and then we will move on to the next verse in the next episode. If you have any comments, please write below, and please feel free to share, and please subscribe to my channel so I will be motivated to continue this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.